You think you're loving your dog with all your heart? Then why do they sometimes look at you with such sad eyes? Maybe you're doing something your dog may never forgive. It's not out of cruelty. It's because you may not yet understand the language of dogs, a language built on trust, silent love, and invisible wounds. We assume giving good food, taking walks, and buying premium toys is enough. But sometimes, the smallest actions can deeply wound a dog's heart. So much that if they could speak, they might say, "Why would you do that to me?" I know. You love your dog. The fact that you're watching this video means you care about their feelings. But love must come the right way. If we don't realize this in time, that amazing bond can fade, replaced by distant eyes, avoidance, and a gap that's hard to bridge. In this video, I'll walk you through 20 things dogs never forget or forgive. Things that could be quietly breaking the connection between you and your loyal companion. And number 17, I promise you, it will haunt you if you've ever done it. If you truly love your dog, don't look away. And if something I say today truly touches your heart, subscribe now, because here, I'll keep sharing stories that help you understand your dog's silent heart a little more each day. Are you ready? Because the first one is the most heartbreaking burden a dog can carry for life. Nothing hurts a dog more than being pushed away when they come running to you with love, just because you're busy, annoyed, or upset. For us, a quick wave off is no big deal. But to a dog, it's a cold message. You're not loved. And if it happens again and again, they'll eventually stop coming. That bright-eyed excitement you used to see every time you came home, it'll disappear. Because a moment of your coldness can turn into a lifetime of emotional distance for them. Sometimes we play harmless tricks, pretending to throw a ball or blowing in their face to get a laugh. We think it's funny, but to a dog, these are tiny betrayals. And done often enough, they become big wounds, because dogs don't understand jokes. They only know truth or deception, and no one wants to live with someone who makes them feel fooled. Many owners make a painful mistake without realizing it, using a crate or kennel as punishment. When you're angry and you send your dog into their crate, you're not creating peace. You're destroying their sense of safety. That crate, which should be a cozy den, becomes a prison of guilt and fear. So next time you ask them to go rest inside, don't be surprised if they refuse. To them, it's not a safe space. It's a trauma chamber. Have you ever noticed your dog doesn't enjoy learning commands anymore? Maybe because you're sending mixed signals. One day it's stay, another it's wait, then hold on. To you, they sound different. To your dog, you're speaking a foreign language without a translator. When they don't understand, you get frustrated. When you're frustrated, they feel like failures. Eventually, they stop trying. Some dogs were once eager to learn, then suddenly lost interest. Not because they got lazy, but because you forgot to praise them at the right time. A simple, good dog, a warm smile, a quick belly rub, that's their reward. But if every good deed gets silence in return, they start to wonder, what's the point? When the reason disappears, so does the behavior. There are days you bring friends over excited to show off your dog, but they hide. You call, they won't come out. So you get frustrated and force them into the spotlight. You think, they'll get used to it. But trust doesn't work that way. For dogs, first impressions are everything. If the first memory is fear, every future meeting feels like emotional warfare. Dogs don't forgive being pushed into fear, especially when all they needed was a quiet corner to feel safe. And if you've ever taken your dog to a crowded park, unleashed them among barking, hyper dogs, and expected them to figure it out, you've ignored the clear signs. panting, pinned ears, trying to escape. That's not joy. That's a panic attack. Don't wait until a fight breaks out to realize your dog wasn't okay. Dogs can forgive forgotten snacks, but not being left alone in a state of fear. Another heartbreaking mistake: yelling at your dog for peeing or pooping in the wrong place. But did you ever teach them where the right place was? That guilty look you see isn't guilt. It's fear, because you're angry. And that anger, when it's unexplained and unfair, becomes unforgivable confusion. If they don't understand what they did wrong, they can't learn or forgive. Ever thought about how your dog feels when thunder rumbles or fireworks explode? They tremble. They hide under furniture. They look at you with wide, terrified eyes. But you say, "It's nothing to be scared of," and walk away. In those moments, you miss your chance to be their emotional anchor. A hug, a gentle touch, a whisper of comfort could have saved their tiny world from collapsing. But if you don't, they won't forget. What's worse than fear is pain disguised as discipline. Some still tap their dogs on the nose when they misbehave. You think, it's just a warning, it doesn't hurt. But what you don't see is, next time you raise your hand, they flinch, because the hand that once offered love betrayed them. That betrayal doesn't go away easily. Some scars come from moments you barely noticed, like cutting a nail too deep, a drop of blood, a sting. To you, small. To them, trauma. Next time they see clippers, they run. The sound alone folds their ears. You think they're stubborn. They're just protecting themselves from a pain they never forgot and never forgave. You're busy. We all are. But leaving your dog alone at home for too long, in silence with no toys, no voices, no connection, it shrinks their heart a little more each hour. Dogs are creatures of connection. Without it, they don't just get lonely, they panic. Every hour in silence drives a wedge into their trust. One day, you'll come home, and they won't run to greet you, not out of anger, but because their heart has gone numb. Worse than silence, it is laughing when they're hurt. They trip, bump into furniture, or get startled, and you laugh. But dogs don't get the joke. They only feel that the one they trust finds their pain amusing. Even a careless laugh can shatter fragile trust. Sometimes you yell, not at them, but at life. A bad day, a stressful call, an outburst. But if it happens often, you turn your home into a war zone. Dogs don't need to be the target. Your raised voice slices into their soul. The louder you get, the more they fear you. Soon, they associate your voice not with love, but danger. And once that happens, your bond starts to break. You think, my dog needs to socialize. So you bring them close to strangers, or let strange dogs get too close, even though your dog is clearly turning away, licking their lips, folding their ears. You think forcing them now will make it better later. But for dogs, that's a violation of safety. You may not see it, but in their world, you didn't protect them. And for a species that lives by trust, that's the deepest betrayal. Then there are owners who never make eye contact, never talk to their dogs unless giving orders. They feed, walk, take them to the vet. They do their duty, but no love, no connection, just presence without warmth. To a dog, that's not care. That's being invisible in your own home. You get angry when there's an accident indoors. A puddle, a mess, but Do you stop to ask why? Maybe they were sick. Maybe you didn't take them out in time. Maybe they held it too long. But instead, they get punished, confused, ashamed. And without understanding what they did wrong, they carry a pain they can't name or explain. When thunder cracks or fireworks blast, dogs often run, hide, tremble. Many owners roll their eyes. He's just being a baby. But to a dog, it's the end of the world. And if you don't open your arms then, when will you? Some people tie their dogs too tightly, too long, thinking it's safe. But every second, that leash chokes their freedom a little more. Every time they flinch at a sound, or try to turn and can't, is another cut into their spirit. Dogs can forgive poverty, forgive your busy life, but they won't forgive being chained by convenience. And finally, they may never forgive being forgotten emotionally. Every day that goes by without eye contact, kind words, or a gentle head rub is a day where love fades quietly. You don't need to do grand things, just touch their heart once a day, because if you forget, they won't be angry. But one day, they may not be there at all, the way they were in the beginning. You see, dogs don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to understand and love them the right way. If you've made one of these mistakes, don't blame yourself, but don't ignore it either. Love can always be repaired if you choose to begin today. And if you truly love your dog with your whole heart, subscribe now. Because in the next videos, I'll share gentle, meaningful ways to help your dog feel safe, happy, and truly loved, the way they deserve. I'll see you and your pup in the next story, where love doesn't need words but is always felt with the heart.